Greetings, dear travelers. Forget your guidebooks. Burn the tourist maps that promise charming villages and Dracula-themed dinner. You are not a tourist. You are a subject in a much older narrative. And tonight, we'll explore the deep, dark folklore of Romania. Picture this. You are standing in the center of a village, in a time where basic sanitation is forgotten. The air is thick, heavy with the smell of wet earth, curing wood smoke, and a profound, simmering distrust aimed directly at you. The houses are crooked things of timber and river stone, leaning into each other for support, their windows like vacant eyes. There are no paved roads. There is only mud. It sucks at your boots with a sound like a hungry mouth. This is not a place of quaint poverty. This is a fortress of tradition, and you have just breached the walls. Your crime was not grand. You did not defile a temple or steal a relic. Your mistake was one of misfortune. You arrived after sunset, on the wrong day of the week. You walked a path reserved for entities that do not cast shadows and pay no mind to mortal travelers. You did not know the rule, but in this world, ignorance is not an excuse. It is a pre-existing condition. The villagers know. They can see it on you. A stain, a subtle dissonance in your presence that screams outsider more loudly than your foreign clothes ever could. They look at you, their faces hard and unreadable, their hands resting on the handles of axes and scythes. These are not weapons. Not yet. They are tools. And you, my friend, have just become a problem that might require tooling. An old man approaches. His face is a roadmap of wrinkles, each one a testament to a harsh winter or a failed harvest. He is the village elder, which is the local term for the chief administrator of paranormal bylaws. He offers you a small, grimy cup filled with a clear liquid. It smells like gasoline and regret. This is wick, a plum brandy that could strip paint. It is not a gesture of hospitality. It is a test, a diagnostic tool. You drink it. The burn is immediate, a fire that claws its way down your throat and settles in your stomach like a hot coal. His eyes watch you, gauging your reaction, looking for something he already knows is there. Congratulations. You have just confirmed your status as a person of interest to the local Undead Abatement Committee. You violated a core tenet of their reality, which is less a system of belief and more a set of brutally pragmatic safety regulations. These people do not have the luxury of skepticism. Their grandparents did not tell them stories of the Strigai for entertainment. They gave them operational security briefings passed down through generations. They know the signs. A cow that gives bloody milk. A patch of crops that withers overnight. A shadow that flickers in a place where no shadow should be. They are the symptoms of a spiritual sickness, a sickness you may have just carried into their home. Their home, which is not just this collection of huts, but the soil itself. The soil you so carelessly walked upon. The elder speaks, his voice a dry rustle of leaves. He does not welcome you. He informs you of your situation. He uses no grand language. He speaks of balance, of lines that must not be crossed, and of the things that awaken when they are. It is a conversation devoid of emotion, delivered with the flat, tired tone of a municipal clerk explaining zoning violations to someone who built their house on a cursed burial ground. You are not evil. You are a clerical error. A piece of paperwork filed in the wrong cosmic cabinet, and the consequences of that are now a community problem. Your problem, mostly, but also theirs. And they will solve it. The real terror of this place is not the eventual monster. It is the suffocating certainty in the eyes of these people. They live with a tangible, ever-present threat, and they have developed a harsh, unyielding immune system to deal with it. You are a foreign body, an infection, and the village is deciding between quarantine and cauterization. The sun is setting, painting the sky in bruises of purple and orange. The silence deepens. The day's work is done. The doors are being barred. The icons are being kissed, and you are being left outside. This initial error, this simple trespass, is the wound that will never quite close. In the lore of this land, such mistakes do not simply fade. They attune you. They change your frequency, making you perceptible to the things that hunt on the periphery of human existence. You are no longer just a lost traveler. You have been flagged by the system. Your spiritual signature has been logged. The consequences of this are not a matter of myth. They are a matter of what happens next. When the last light dies and the true locals come out to investigate the disturbance. The disturbance, of course, is you. The door to the elder's hut is barred. All the doors are. You are alone in the oppressive, absolute dark of a village that has shut itself down. The silence is a physical weight. It is not peaceful. It is the held breath before a scream. The air, already thick with wood smoke and mud, now carries a new scent on the night breeze. It is the smell of a cellar forgotten, damp earth, spoiled linens, and something vaguely metallic, like old coins. It is the smell of stagnant life. You feel it before you see it. A drop in temperature that has nothing to do with the weather. A profound, bone, deep exhaustion. As if gravity has decided to focus its efforts entirely on you. This is the reality of the first creature you will meet. There is no swish of a velvet cape. No seductive whisper from a shadowed castle window. There is only this creeping, parasitic dread. Welcome to the world of the Strigai, in the West. You have a tidy, romanticized fiction of the vampire, a brooding aristocrat with a tragic backstory. The reality here is far grimmer, far more bureaucratic. The Strigai are the result of a failure in spiritual paperwork. They are the souls of the unquiet dead. Those who took their own life, the unbaptized, those born with a call, or those whose fresh grave was desecrated by the leap of a cat. They are not grand figures of evil. They are cosmic loose ends. And they are hungry. Their hunger is not for blood, not always. It is for life itself. The vital energy that animates you. The Strigai rises from its grave, often just days after burial, and returns to its home. It does not announce itself. It is a slow, invisible poison. The family it preys upon will feel a growing weariness. The livestock will sicken and die. The crops in their fields will fail. It is a thing of entropy, draining the warmth and order from everything it touches. The villagers know the signs because they are written in the annals of their survival. They see a neighbor's inexplicable decline, and they do not call for a physician. They grab their shovels. Suddenly, the elder's door creaks open. He stands there, a lantern held high, its light carving a weak circle in the suffocating darkness. He gestures for you to follow. Not with words, just a sharp jerk of his head. This is not an invitation. It is a summons. You have been drafted. Your transgression, your careless stumbling through their world's unseen rules, has coincided with this new rot. In their eyes, you are either the cause or the catalyst. Either way, you are now part of the solution. He leads you to the edge of the village, to the cemetery. A place of crooked wooden crosses and sunken graves. A few other men are there, their faces grim in the lantern light. They carry shovels and a long, sharpened stake of hawthorn wood. Picture this grim reality. You are about to perform an act of profound desecration in the name of public health. This is not a heroic monster hunt. This is post-mortem sanitation enforcement. The men begin to dig at a fresh grave, the earth still soft. The sound is a wet, rhythmic tearing. The smell of the soil is overpowering now, thick and cloying. They work with a grim efficiency, their movements practiced. They are not warriors. They are municipal workers dealing with a supernatural hazard. Let's just say their employee handbook contains chapters that would turn a city dweller's hair white. The shovel strikes wood. A hollow, final sound. They pry the lid from the simple coffin. The elder holds the lantern over the opening. The corpse inside is a man who was buried a week ago. He should be pale. He should show signs of decay. He does not. His skin has a ruddy, healthy glow. His lips, slightly parted, are stained with a trace of dark, fresh blood. His eyes are wide open, staring at the night sky with a vacant, malevolent intelligence. Congratulations. You have met your first strigoi. There is no debate, no moment of disbelief. This is a clear-cut violation of the terms and conditions of being dead. The solution is just as pragmatic and devoid of ceremony. It is a messy, physical act of decommissioning a failed soul. This is magic at its most inconvenient and visceral. The lesson here is not about courage. It is about consequences. The strigoi exists at the absolute rock bottom of the vampiric hierarchy. It is a blunt instrument of supernatural hunger, driven by a simple, all-consuming need. It is a pest, a dangerous, soul-draining pest. Dealing with it is not a glorious battle. It is a dirty job. A job you have been assigned to as part of your penance. Your presence here, your spiritual scent, has agitated the unseen world. You are a disturbance, and you have disturbed the dirt. Now you must help clean it up. This encounter is your true baptism into this world. Surviving it, seeing the grim finality of the stake and the unnatural stillness that follows, changes you. It burns away any romantic notions of the supernatural you may have held. It leaves behind a hard, cold certainty. The line between life and death is terrifyingly thin, and things are constantly crossing back and forth. This knowledge is now a part of you, a new layer to the stain that marks you. It is character building, but not in the way you might hope. It builds a foundation of dread, a constant awareness of the things that lurk just beneath the surface of reality. You survived the decommissioning of the strigoi. You stood in the profane silence of an open grave and watched the grim, necessary work get done. The men packed the earth back into place with a sense of finality. Job done, problem solved. But the problem was not solved. It was merely handed off to a different department. As you try to rest in a cold, borrowed room, you learn a new truth. The real horrors do not announce themselves with the sound of a shovel hitting a coffin. They arrive in silence. Sleep does not come. Or if it does, it is a thin, treacherous thing. You drift in a state of exhaustion, a grey twilight between consciousness and nightmare. You feel a weight, a physical pressure on your chest, as if a stone has been laid upon your ribs. Your breath catches. You try to move, to cry out, but your limbs are lead and your throat is sealed. This is not a simple nightmare. This is an appointment. Your spiritual scent, that stain you acquired upon arrival, and which was then amplified by your proximity to the undead, has attracted a new kind of creditor. You have met the blunt instrument. Now you meet the scalpel. This is the work of the moroi. The moroi is a different class of parasite. Where the strigoi is a reanimated corpse, a problem of flesh and bone, the moroi is often a phantom, a ghost. A being of energy with a specific, insidious appetite. It does not need to break down your door. It does not need to have a body. It feeds on your vitality, your emotional energy, your will to live. It is a thing of intimate, personal terror. The elder and his men cannot help you now. You cannot fight a phantom with a sharpened stake. You cannot dig up a bad dream and put its heart on a pike. Each morning, you wake up more tired than when you went to sleep. The world seems dimmer. The colors bled from it as if left in the sun too long. Food tastes of ash. The villagers' conversations sound distant, muffled, as if heard from underwater. This is the slow, methodical work of the Moroi. It is a hostile takeover of your psychic portfolio. It drains your emotional reserves, leaving you a hollowed-out shell of anxiety and despair. It turns your own mind into a weapon against you. The nightmares it sends are not grand visions of monsters. They are subtle, corrosive things. Dreams of missed opportunities, of words you wish you had said, of small, festering regrets that bloom into psychic wounds. Picture the grim reality of this haunting. It is not dramatic. It is a slow, quiet, spiritual decay. It is the metaphysical equivalent of a chronic illness. There are no chains rattling, no ghostly moans. There is only the ever-present cold spot in the room. The flicker of movement at the edge of your vision. The crushing certainty that you are not alone, even in the solitude of your own head. Congratulations. You have graduated from being a public nuisance to being a private feeding ground. Your previous encounter was a community problem. This is a personal crisis, and frankly, nobody else has the time or the inclination to get involved. The Moroi is your own private demon. You realize you cannot stay here. The village, once a fortress of deadly tradition, is now simply a cage where you are being slowly consumed. The protection of its rituals and its suspicious glares does nothing to stop a creature that has already set up residence inside your soul. You are on your own. The hawthorn stake that seemed so final, so powerful against the strigoi, is now just a useless piece of wood. This enemy operates on a different axis of reality, and you need a different kind of weapon, a different kind of knowledge to even begin to fight back. Your only option is to leave, to walk away from the dubious safety of these worn paths and barred doors. The lasting lesson of the Moroi is a brutal one. It teaches you that the most dangerous threats are not the ones that charge at you from the darkness. They are the ones that whisper to you in your own voice, the ones that feast on your hope and leave you to rot from the inside out. Surviving this encounter, if you can call it that, means understanding that your own mind is a battlefield. Your spirit is a territory that can be invaded, occupied, and bled dry. This is not just character building, it is the radical deconstruction of your sense of self. You no longer trust your own feelings. Is this sadness yours? Or is it a symptom of the parasite? Is this exhaustion physical, or is it being inflicted upon you? The world is no longer just a place of physical dangers. It is a place of profound psychic vulnerability, and you are now acutely, painfully aware of how fragile the walls of your own sanity truly are. To survive, you must seek a cure not in the earth beneath your feet, but in the wild, untamed places that lie ahead. You fled the village. You fled the suffocating, silent drain of the Moroi. You ran into the forest, believing that any danger you could see would be better than the one you could not. This was a profound miscalculation. The forest is not a sanctuary. It is another kind of prison, one with no visible walls. The trees are too old, their branches knitted together into a canopy that swallows the sun. The air is still and wet, smelling of 1,000 years of moss and rot. There are no birds, no squirrels. The only sound is the wet suck of your boots in the mud and the frantic, hammering pulse in your own ears. You are not just lost, you are being erased. Then you hear it, a melody. It does not travel to your ears through the air. It simply appears inside your head, a tune of impossible beauty and sublime logic. It promises warmth and light, and an end to all your fear. Following that sound is the most natural thing in the world. It is also the last mistake you will ever make. You fight the urge. You claw at your own senses. knowing instinctively that this beauty is a lure. But your feet move on their own. They carry you into a clearing bathed in a cold, silver light that does not come from the moon or stars. And you see them, the aisle. They are a circle of women dancing. They are impossibly beautiful, their white gowns flowing like liquid moonlight, their hair a cascade of starlight. But you are not just seeing them. You are experiencing them. The sight is a physical force. The melody they hum is the sound of your own sanity unraveling. Their dance does not follow the laws of physics. They move with a grace that is both mesmerizing and deeply, fundamentally wrong. This is not a joyful celebration. It is a cosmic event, as impersonal and as deadly as a solar flare. You have stumbled upon a force of nature, and it has noticed you. Let's be clear. You have not discovered a magical secret. You have wandered into a live, fire-testing range for supernatural weapons. The Isle are not evil. They are not trying to hurt you. You simply do not matter. Your mortal senses are not equipped to process the reality of their existence, and the feedback loop is catastrophic. Their beauty is radiation. Their song is a virus that deletes the self. Congratulations. You are an unauthorized guest at a private function, and the bouncers will not be throwing you out. They will be turning you inside out. You must not look. You must not listen. You tear your gaze away, clamping your hands over your ears, but the song is already in your bones. You turn and run. You do not run from them. You run from what they are doing to your mind. Thorns and branches whip at your face, but the pain is a welcome anchor to reality. You stumble out of their territory hours later, collapsing into the mud. The music is gone, but a phantom echo remains, a high-pitched ringing that may never leave. You survived. That is the word for it. But you are not unscathed. This encounter was not a fight. It was an exposure. The kind that leaves a permanent mark on your soul's medical chart. You have learned that some things in this world are not predators. They are simply lethal environments you can wander into by taking a wrong turn. The encounter with the Isle is a turning point. It has taught you that running is not enough. Ignorance is not a shield. The world is full of rules you do not understand, and breaking them has consequences that range from the parasitic to the instantly fatal. The moroi drained you. The Isle nearly erased you. This is not a sustainable lifestyle. You need more than luck. You need knowledge. You need a specialist who understands the deep, dangerous mechanics of this world. Your flight from the village has become a quest. You are no longer running from something. You are running toward someone, a rumor, a legend whispered in fear. You must find a Solomonar. The quest for a Solomonari is a journey into vertical exile. You leave the suffocating, horizontal dread of the forests and begin to climb. The Carpathian mountains claw at the sky, their peaks shrouded in perpetual, angry-looking clouds. The air grows thin, burning your lungs. The wind is a constant, shrieking thing, a voice that promises a quick fall to a final end. This is their domain. The Solomonari, the masters of storms, do not live among people. They live in the sky, in desolate places where the barrier between the world and the heavens is at its most fragile. These are not kindly hedge wizards. The lore is specific. They are sorcerers of immense power, men who attended a great, dark school of magic somewhere at the edge of the world. There, they learned the language of the sky and the secrets of the Balor, the storm dragons. They are masters of cosmic forces. They can summon rains to save a harvest or hailstorms to destroy an army. This is magic in its rawest form. Not the messy, biological horror of the Strigai, but the awesome, terrifying power of creation itself. It is a power that comes at a price. The Solomonari are recluses, academics of the apocalypse. and they do not welcome visitors. After days of climbing, you find a cave. The entrance is a wound in the rock face, and the air crackling around it smells of ozone and wet stone. There is a man sitting there, seemingly oblivious to the gale force winds. He is old but ageless, his skin tanned like ancient leather, his eyes the color of a storm cloud. He is watching the weather patterns 100 miles away, as if reading a book. He does not seem surprised to see you. He seems annoyed. You have brought your messy, mortal problems to his doorstep, and he is radiating a profound sense of inconvenience. This is the Solomona. You tell him your story. The stain, the strigoi, the moroi. The song of the isle that still rattles in your skull. He listens without moving, his expression unchanging. He is not feeling empathy. He is diagnosing a problem. You are a fascinating collection of spiritual maladies, a walking case study in supernatural affliction. When you are finished, the silence stretches, broken only by the wind. You can feel a low, deep vibration through the stone floor of the cave. The gentle breathing of the multi-ton meteorological phenomenon he keeps as a pet. His dragon is nearby. Let's just say his security system is top tier. The Solomona does not offer you a potion or a comforting word. He offers you a transaction. He is a consultant, a high-priced specialist in the forbidden arts, and his services are not free. Picture this: you are in a meeting with the world's most exclusive and dangerous professional. His office is a storm-racked mountain peak, and his fee is not payable in gold. He can help you. He can give you the knowledge to shield your mind from the echoes of the isle, to cleanse the stain that makes you a beacon for things like the moroi. But his knowledge is a jealously guarded asset. You must prove your worth. You must undertake a task for him. He needs you to act as an agent. A rival has placed a curse, a blestum, on a water source in a valley below. The Solomona cannot act directly for reasons of complex, supernatural politics you cannot begin to understand. He needs a deniable asset, a disposable third party. You. He explains the task with the detached air of a project manager assigning a ticket. Your payment will be the cure you seek. Your failure will be your own problem. Congratulations. You have just accepted a gig economy job in the middle of a mythological crisis. The terms are terrible, but you have no other options. This is the moment your journey fundamentally changes. You are no longer a victim reacting to the horrors of this land. You are now an active participant. You have made a bargain with a being of immense power and questionable morality. This act binds you to the unseen world in a way none of your previous encounters did. You are no longer just a person with a problem. You are a pawn on a chessboard so vast you cannot even see the edges. The consequences of this deal will ripple outwards, far beyond the simple task assigned to you. You sought a cure, but what you have found is a contract. You have your mission. Descending from the Salomona's mountain peak is a return to a world of subtler dangers. You are no longer a victim. You are a contractor, an agent on retainer, and your first job is to audit a curse. The valley the wizard pointed you toward does not look blighted from a distance. The grass is green, too green, a vibrant, unnatural emerald that hints at a sickness in the soil. As you walk deeper, the air grows heavy, not with fear, but with a kind of oppressive apathy. The world feels tired here. The birdsong is monotonous. The buzz of insects is gone. This is the handiwork of a blestum. A curse in this land is not a simple malediction. It is a piece of artisanal, weaponized magic. It is a construct of will and ritual, designed with a specific, often cruel, purpose. Think of it less as a magical attack, and more as a piece of malicious code injected into the local reality. This particular blestem is tied to the village spring, the community's heart, but it doesn't poison the water. That would be inefficient. Obvious. No, this curse is more sophisticated. It sours relationships. It fosters suspicion. It drains ambition. It makes everyone who drinks the water unlucky. It is a magical agent of slow, grinding despair. You walk into the small village, and the effect is palpable. No one meets your eye. Neighbors who have lived side by side for generations look at each other with muted resentment. Tools are left to rust. Fences are unmended. There is a profound sense of communal surrender. They are not dying. They are simply giving up. This is not the work of a monster you can fight. This is a spiritual disease, and the people here are its unwitting hosts. You are not here as a hero to save them. You are a technician sent to debug the system. Your personal feelings on the matter are irrelevant. The Solomona was specific. The curse has an anchor, a physical object hidden within the spring itself, radiating the intent of its creator. Your job is to find it and remove it. Wading into the spring is your first real test. The water is shockingly cold, a deep, unnatural chill that has nothing to do with mountain runoff. It feels like stepping into liquid apathy. You plunge your hands into the freezing water, feeling along the muddy bottom. The stones are smooth, worn by time. But then your fingers brush against something else. A small bundle wrapped in black cloth. It feels wrong. It hums with a low, malevolent energy, a quiet vibration of pure spite. You have found the anchor. Picture this reality. You are standing waist, deep in cursed water, holding a bundle of what feels like hair, thorns, and dried blood, tied together with a hateful purpose. This is the grim, visceral truth behind a magical curse. It is not an ethereal wave of a hand. It is a messy, physical craft, following the wizard's instructions. You do not try to destroy it. That could release the energy unpredictably. You are here to decommission it. You carry it downstream, away from the spring, and bury it in a patch of barren earth, whispering the nonsensical, paradoxical phrase the Solomona taught you. It is a sequence of words designed to short-circuit the magical intent. Congratulations, you have just performed the supernatural equivalent of filing a bug report that deletes the bug. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, you feel it. A subtle release. The oppressive weight in the air vanishes. A bird starts singing a new, more complex tune. Two villagers across the way, who had been staring blankly at a broken cart, suddenly look at each other and begin to speak. You have not brought joy. You have simply removed despair. You have reset the system to its factory settings. This is the lasting consequence of your work. In successfully dismantling another sorcerer's handiwork, you have done more than fulfill your contract. You have announced yourself. You have demonstrated a specific, rare, and threatening skill set. You are no longer just a spiritually stained vagrant. You are now a known operative in the unseen world. A person who can unmake things. And the original creator of that blestem, the rival of your new employer, has just received a notification that his work has been undone. A notification that bears your spiritual signature. The good news is, you have earned your payment from the Solomona. The bad news is, you have made a new, very powerful enemy, and his methods of retaliation are far more direct than a slow-acting curse. The satisfaction from undoing the blestem is fleeting. It is a single, clean breath before the air is stolen from your lungs again. You feel the change instantly. The heavy apathy of the curse is gone, but it is replaced by something far worse. A sharp, focused, predatory attention. It is a cold spot forming between your shoulder blades. You are being watched, not by the passive, ancient eyes of the forest, but by a hungry, intelligent malice. The rival of your new employer has received your message, and he has sent a reply. This is the consequence of playing on a higher board. The retaliation is not another subtle curse. It is direct. It is violent. It is a precolici. Forget your stories of men turning into wolves under the full moon. That is a romantic tragedy. This is a grim matter of undead mechanics. A precolici is not a living man with a curse. It is the soul of a man so vile, so steeped in violence, that the grave itself cannot hold him. His spirit rises, clothed in the form of a great wolf, to continue the rampage he so enjoyed in life. It is not a man fighting a beast. It is a monster wearing the skin of a beast as a more efficient tool for murder. The hunt begins immediately. You are both the hunter and the hunted. The Solomona's payment was not just the promise of a cure for your previous ailments, it was information. A crash course in the thing that would inevitably be sent after you. You move through the darkening woods, every nerve alight. The forest is no longer neutral ground. It is the enemy's territory. The wind carries a low growl that seems to come from all directions at once. The snap of a twig is no longer a random sound. It is a footstep. The pacing must be brutal now. This is reality. Claws on stone. A shadow moving too fast. You see the tracks. They are not normal. Too big. Too deep. A wolf of impossible weight. You smell it on the air. Wet fur, freshly spilled blood, and the grave dirt from which it clawed its way free. This is visceral. This is the reality of your new career path. One moment you are a magical auditor, the next you are prey. Congratulations. You have been promoted from paranormal sanitation to active combat duty. The rival wizard did not send a strongly worded letter. He deployed a biological weapon, a self-guided missile of tooth and claw with your name inscribed on its teeth. Your performance review is being conducted by an undead wolf, and the only passing grade is survival. This is not a heroic duel. It is a termination meeting where you are the sole item on the agenda. You find a defensible position. A cluster of rocks, a narrow passage. You do not have silver bullets. That is a fiction. You have a sharpened spear of ash wood, blessed by the Solomona, and the cold, hard knowledge that this creature is still tied to the dead man it once was. The beast emerges from the shadows. It is enormous, larger than any natural wolf, its eyes burning with a hateful, human intelligence. It does not circle. It does not posture. It charges. A blur of black fur and snarling rage. The impact is a physical blow, throwing you back against the rock. Pain explodes in your shoulder. Its jaws snap shut inches from your face, its breath a foul stench of rotten death. You fight with desperation, not valor. A frantic, ugly scramble of avoidance and attack. You use the terrain. You use the fear. You use the last dregs of your will. The spear finds its mark, not in the heart, but in the thick muscle of its neck. It howls, a sound of pure agony and fury, and for a moment, its form shimmers. You see the face of a brutal, bearded man, his features twisted in a snarl of eternal hatred. Then it is gone, retreating into the darkness, wounded but not dead. The work is not finished. The creature will heal. It will return. You must find its grave, the man's grave, and you must finish the job. Finding the grave is a grim piece of tracking, following the trail of blood and rage back to a desolate, unhallowed patch of ground. You dig again. The coffin is splintered from the inside. The corpse within is mangled, covered in dirt and its own blood, but the wound in its neck matches the one you gave the wolf. This is the final, inconvenient truth of the precolici. To kill the beast, you must desecrate the man. You perform the grim ritual the Solomona described, ensuring the soul can never again claw its way back into the world. This victory brings no relief. It is a grim, necessary act of extermination. By killing a direct agent of your new enemy, you have made a definitive statement. You are not a pawn to be sacrificed. You are a threat to be reckoned with. This escalates everything. Your reputation, for good or ill, is now cemented in the unseen world. You are a player. And you have just made your move. You have just finished the grim work of purifying a desecrated grave. You are covered in filth, blood, and the lingering spiritual grease of the undead. You stand up, your body a symphony of pain, and you look to the moon for a sliver of clean, cold light. But something is wrong. The light is failing. A shadow is creeping across the lunar face, moving with an unnatural speed. This is not an eclipse. An eclipse is a neat, predictable alignment of cosmic clockwork. This is a mugging, a bite taken from the sky. The world falls silent. The night insects, the wind, the rustle of leaves, everything stops. All of nature holds its breath. The darkness that falls is not the gentle dark of night. It is a thick, profound, and absolute blackness. The cold that accompanies it is not the chill of the air, but the cold of the void. You are witnessing the work of a Kolak. This is a creature from a different order of reality entirely. A cosmic demon, a celestial parasite, whose function and hunger are directed at the lights in the sky. It is a being that devours suns and moons. Your previous encounters were personal. The Strigai, the Moroi, the Pricklissi, they were all threats tied to the soil and the soul. They were dangers you could, in theory, fight. This is different. The sheer, overwhelming scale of it is a form of terror in itself. You cannot fight a creature that eats the moon. You cannot hide from a monster whose hunting ground is the sky. You are a microbe on a speck of dust, watching two gods wrestle. Your personal dramas, the wizard who wants you dead, the curses you carry, they all shrink into pathetic insignificance. This is the shift in tone from earthly horror to cosmic dread. Picture the grim reality. You survived a fight to the death only to watch the fundamental laws of the universe be violated in front of you. There is no strategy here, no weapon to wield. You can only watch and feel the profound, soul-crushing terror of your own irrelevance. Congratulations. You've just realized that your problems are not the world's problems. While you were busy with your life and death struggles, something else decided to commit an act of cosmic larceny. Your sense of scale has just been irrevocably shattered. This is not an adventure. This is a lesson in humility, delivered with the force of a planetary body. The process is violent. The edge of the shadow on the moon is not clean. It looks like it is tearing bleeding darkness into the void. A faint reddish corona appears, the color of old blood. You are watching the sky bleed. Down on the ground, a primal fear takes hold. The kind of fear that is encoded in DNA. The fear of a world without light. A world where the rules are broken. You understand in that moment that the greatest horrors are not the ones that hunt you. They are the ones that could extinguish you and everything you have ever known without even being aware of your existence. Then, as slowly as it began, it ends. The shadow recedes. The moon returns, looking pale and scarred. The world takes a collective, shuddering breath. The night sounds resume, tentative at first, then more confident. The cosmic order, for now, has held. But you are changed. The memory of that perfect, hungry darkness is burned into you. The personal vendetta of the rival wizard now seems almost manageable. Quaint, even. But his threat is real, and it is still focused on you. You need to hide. But where can you go to escape a man who can dispatch undead wolves and command curses? You must find a place so foul, so dangerous, that he would never think to look. A place no one in their right mind would ever approach. The lasting consequence of this celestial event is a profound shift in your perspective. You have now seen behind the curtain. You know that the stage upon which all the terrestrial monsters play is itself fragile, subject to being torn apart by much larger, hungrier things. This knowledge does not make you stronger. It hollows you out, replacing a small part of your personal fear with a much larger, more abstract dread. It is a terrible form of enlightenment. You sought to survive the monsters of the land, and in the process, you have learned of the monsters that haunt the sky. The cosmic terror of the Via Rakalasi has given you a gift perspective. The wizard hunting you is a deadly but comprehensible threat. To escape him, you need to become incomprehensible. You need to go somewhere logic would forbid you from entering. Your journey takes you to the foothills, to a region the locals shun. The air here grows thick with the stench of carrion and filth. The ground is littered with cracked bones and scraps of cloth. You have found the territory of a CDPC-dan. The CDPC-dan is the ogre of this land, but you must discard any simple notion of a big, dumb brute. The horror of the CDPC-dan is in its twisted, nightmarish biology. It is a creature of mismatched parts, a walking mockery of natural forms. Some tales say it has the head of a dog. Others claim it has 4 eyes, or a second face on its torso. It is a predator, a kidnapper, and a cannibal. It is a being of base, brutish, and unrelenting monstrosity. Its lair, a grotto carved into the hillside, is the place you have chosen as your sanctuary. Let's pause to appreciate the grim satire of your situation. To hide from a sophisticated, intelligent enemy, you are willingly breaking and entering the home of a cannibalistic serial killer. This is not a heroic gambit. This is a desperate, foul choice made by someone who has run out of good options. Congratulations. You have found the world's most horrific safe house. The security deposit is your dignity, the decor is early charnel house, and the landlord really wants to eat you. But the rent is cheap, and your enemy is unlikely to come knocking. You creep toward the cave entrance. The stench is a physical wall you have to push through. The cave floor is slick with things you must not identify. Piles of bones, many of them disturbingly small, are stacked against the walls. This is not just a lair, it is a pantry. A deep, snoring sound, a wet and heavy rumble, echoes from the darkness within. It is asleep. You find a narrow crevice in the rock, a space barely wide enough for your body, and you squeeze inside, pressing yourself into the cold, damp stone. You must be silent. You must be still. You must not even smell of fear. The visceral reality of this moment is absolute. The air is thick, unbreathable. Every drip of water sounds like a footstep. Your heart is a drum threatening to give you away. This is the rhythm of pure terror. The snoring stops. A massive, shadowy form shifts in the darkness. The CDPC-dan is waking up. It moves through its grotto with a surprising quickness, its heavy footsteps shaking the very rock you are hiding in. It sniffs the air. It is hunting, even in its own home. You hold your breath until your lungs burn, praying that the stench of this place is enough to mask your own. The creature is a nightmare made real, a testament to the fact that not all monsters are mythic or cosmic. Some are just hungry, ugly, and close enough to touch. This experience is a new kind of degradation. You have faced the undead, battled psychic parasites, fled from lethal beauty, and witnessed the sky being eaten. Now you are reduced to hiding in a monster's filth, praying for your life. This is the ultimate surrender of control, a choice to embrace the vile in order to survive the vengeful. It is a lesson in the different flavors of horror. Some are grand and awe-inspiring, others are just base and disgusting. You are learning the full, ugly spectrum of the world's dangers. This grotto, this foul sanctuary, is more than just a hiding place, As the sea seat unsettles back into its slumber, you notice the drafts. The cave is not a dead end. It is part of a larger network of tunnels, passages leading deeper into the earth, deeper than this simple monster's home. These tunnels feel ancient, and they may be your only way out. This act of desperation has not just hidden you. It has placed you on the threshold of a new, and even more ancient domain, a place ruled by a power that makes this ogre seem like a common pest. You navigate the deep tunnels by feel, fleeing the memory of the CDPC's grotto. The passages twist and turn, leading you ever deeper. The air changes. The simple, foul stench of the ogre is replaced by something older, cleaner. It is the smell of deep earth, of wet stone, of roots 1,000 years old. The rock walls become smoother, interwoven with massive, woody roots that seem to pulse with a slow, rhythmic life. You have escaped the ogre's lair only to find yourself in the cellar of the entire forest. You are in the domain of the Mumapidori, the mother of the forest. She is not a creature you see. She is a presence you feel. She is the ancient, sentient, and profoundly immoral intelligence of the wilderness itself. She is not the nurturing spirit of nature. She is the hag in the woods, the witch of folklore, elevated to the status of a chthonic deity. Her home has no walls. It is every tree, every stone, every shadow under the canopy, and you are trespassing. The threat here is not tooth and claw. It is psychological. It is the slow, creeping pressure of a god's idle curiosity. The path you follow begins to twist. You walk for hours only to find yourself back at the same gnarled oak tree. The whispers start at the edge of your hearing. They are not words. They are the rustle of leaves, the creak of branches, but they carry intent. They probe at your thoughts, testing your fears, offering you glimpses of home before snatching them away. The forest is playing with you. The Mumapidori is a being of absolute power and unpredictable whims. She might guide a lost child to safety, or she might lead them to her cookpot for the crime of picking the wrong flower. Her benevolence and her malevolence are two heads on the same coin. Picture this reality. You are lost in a maze designed by a god with a questionable sense of humor and a complete disregard for human sanity. This is not a simple forest. This is a psychological evaluation being administered by an entity that considers you little more than an interesting fungus. Congratulations. You have blundered into the private estate of the world's oldest, most powerful, and most unstable landlord. There are no clear rules, no way to win. The only goal is to pass through without attracting her full attention. A task that feels fundamentally impossible when the very air you breathe is a part of her. The visceral experience is one of constant, low-grade paranoia. You feel eyes on your back, but there is nothing there. A branch reaches for you, just the wind. A child's laughter echoes in the distance, just a bird. You are being gaslighted by an entire ecosystem. You have to get out. The constant psychic pressure is grinding you down. You focus on a single point, a sliver of light in the distance. You walk toward it, ignoring the tricks of the path, the whispers, the phantom feelings of dread and false hope. You push through the undergrowth, fighting against a sudden, invisible weight that tries to hold you back. You are a bacterium struggling against the immune system of a living world. You burst through the final line of trees, falling to your knees in a meadow, gasping for air that does not feel like it is analyzing you. You have escaped the mother's clutches, but the encounter leaves a permanent residue. You do not just carry the stain of a broken rule anymore. You now carry the scent of the deep woods, the unmistakable aroma of a primal power. It is a subtle change to your spiritual signature. but it is one that other powerful entities can recognize. This trial has not cleansed you. It has made you more noticeable. And as you look up from your newfound freedom, you see that you have merely traded one form of confinement for another. Before you stands a crude, imposing fortress, a place of stone and iron that radiates a completely different kind of menace. Not the amoral chaos of nature, but the focused, intelligent evil of greed. The fortress looms before you, a brutalist statement of power squatting in the landscape. It is not the work of human hands. The stones are too large, the architecture too arrogant and crude. This is the lair of a Zemu. While the Solomonari command elemental dragons, the Zemu is a different beast entirely. It is a dragon-like creature, sometimes a shapeshifter, that embodies a far more personal vice avarice. It is a being of immense power, cunning intelligence, and an insatiable desire for gold power, and, in the classic tales, the abduction of young princesses. Having just escaped the psychological terrarium of the Mumapid Duri, you are now faced with a more direct and comprehensible, though no less deadly, threat. The Zemu is not an impersonal force of nature. It is a calculating monster. It thinks, it plots, it bargains, and it is utterly treacherous. As you approach, the great iron gate groans open. This is not a welcome. It is a summons. You are a curiosity. The scent of the Mumapide Duri's ancient magic is still on you, and it has piqued the interest of the fortress's owner. You are led into a vast hall. Piles of treasure line the walls. Gold coins, armor, jewels, all heaped together in tasteless, chaotic mounds. This is not the curated collection of a connoisseur. It is the hoard of a compulsive thief. Sitting on a throne of mismatched gold and iron is a man. He is handsome, regal, dressed in silks. But his eyes glitter with a cold, reptilian light. And when he speaks, his charming voice carries a low, predatory rumble. This is the Zemu in one of its preferred forms. It is sizing you up, appraising you as it would any other treasure. Let's be clear. You have walked into a hostile negotiation with a being whose entire philosophy is based on acquisition. It views you as a potential asset or a light meal. There is no middle ground. Congratulations. You are having a meeting with a supernatural venture capitalist whose primary business is armed robbery. Your life is a line item on a balance sheet, and he is currently deciding whether to liquidate or leverage you. His questions are sharp, intelligent. He wants to know where you have been, what you have seen. He recognizes the scent of the old magic on you. It is something he desires but cannot seize himself. He can tell you are running from someone. He can smell the faint traces of the Solomoner's weather, magic, and the rival wizard's spite. He finds your predicament amusing. He offers you a deal, your life and safe passage through his lands, in exchange for a service. This is the core of the Zemu's nature. It does not simply kill when it can exploit. It is a monster of contracts and clauses, all of them written in its favor. It is a far more sophisticated danger than the brutish Seed-Pisitan. Its intellect is the real weapon. The bargain is struck. It wants you to retrieve an item for it, a small trinket lost long ago. But the location is the true price. The item lies at the bottom of the Apus Mbiti, the river of Saturday, the river of the dead, a place where the souls of the unbaptized and the damned swirl in a timeless torment. It is a place the Zemu, for all its power, fears to tread. It needs an expendable agent, a desperate third-party contractor. It needs you. You have no choice but to agree. Your life is the collateral. This is the lasting consequence of your encounter. You have survived by making a deal with a being of legendary greed and treachery. You are now in its debt. This is not a vague promise. It is a binding, magical contract. You have escalated your status once more. You are no longer just a victim or a pawn. You are a freelance operative taking jobs from warring, monstrous powers. Your survival now depends entirely on your ability to navigate a web of interlocking debts and vendettas. You have traded your freedom for your life, and the bill will soon come due. Your deal with the Zimu weighs on you like a shroud. To pay your debt, you must journey to a place that exists on the edge of maps and in the hushed tones of folklore. You are seeking the Ambience, the river of Saturday. As you travel, the world bleeds into shades of grey. The vibrant, living green of the forest gives way to pale, spectral trees. The air becomes still, cold, and silent. This is a liminal space, a wound in the world that leads to the land of the dead. And then you see it. The river is not made of water. It is a slow, thick current of grey mist, swirling with indistinct shapes. The only sound is a constant, collective whisper, the sound of a million forgotten sorrows. This is the river of the dead. Not the glorious underworld of heroes, but the final, lonely resting place for souls that fell through the cracks of faith and ritual. The unbaptized children, the victims of suicide, the forgotten. Their spirits are trapped here, swirling in an endless, purgatorial current. The threat of this place is not a monster. It is the river itself. It is a body of pure, concentrated despair. To touch it is to feel the weight of every tragedy it holds. To enter it is to risk becoming another whisper in its chorus. The Zimu's trinket, a thing of petty, worldly greed, lies somewhere in its depths. Let's just say this is the low point of your freelance career. Your current job description is underwater asset retrieval from a river of ghosts to fulfill a contract with a sociopathic dragon. You have to enter the water. There is no other way. You take a breath, though the air here has no life in it, and step in. It is not wet. It is a cold that bypasses your skin and sinks directly into your soul. The whispering intensifies, becoming a cacophony of grief. You see them now. Pale, translucent faces swirling in the mist. Children with questioning eyes, soldiers with ancient wounds, men and women whose stories are lost forever. They are the river. They reach for you, not with malice, with a desperate, crushing loneliness. They are drowning in eternity, and they want you to drown with them. The cold seeps into your will, promising the peace of oblivion, the comfort of surrender. You are performing a recovery operation in the universe's metaphysical lost and found, and the price of failure is your own soul. You force yourself deeper, the weight of 1,000 sorrows pressing down on you. Your goal is a flicker of gold, a thing that does not belong in this grey abyss. You grasp it, the Zimu's prize. It feels hot, pulsing with a greedy energy that is profane in this place of endless sorrow. Clawing your way back out of the river is a battle against the current of despair. You must want to live more than the spirits want you to die. You collapse on the grey bank, the trinket clutched in your hand, your body racked with a cold that may never leave. You have fulfilled your contract. You are, by the letter of the law, free. But the Ambience has left its mark on you. You have been baptized in the waters of the dead, and the sound of their weeping is now a permanent echo in the quietest moments of your life. This is the final indelible stain. You have been touched by the raw essence of death and loss, a connection that severs the last meaningful tie to the mundane world you once knew. You survived the monsters of the earth, the sky, and the soul. You survived the river of the dead. But as you turn your back on that grey shore, you realize the simulation is not quite over. You must now face the world, armed and cursed with the knowledge of everything you have seen. You must now learn to live as a ghost among the living. You walk away from the apus mbiti, the Zumiu's trinket, a heavy, meaningless weight in your pocket. There is no one hunting you, no contract hanging over your head. For the first time since this began, you are free. But the person who started this journey is gone, washed away somewhere in that river of sorrow. You look at your hands. They are scarred. You look at your reflection in a puddle. The eyes that stare back are ancient. You have survived. That was the goal of the simulation. But this is the result. The world you now inhabit is the same one you first entered, but you see it through new eyes. The folklore is no longer a collection of stories. It is the fundamental operating manual for reality. You find yourself walking around a village. You watch your feet, careful not to step on a threshold without permission. You see a cat sunning itself on a fresh grave, and you shudder, moving quickly away. You hear a dog howl at midday, and you instinctively look for the other signs of a coming death. Every bird, every shadow, every crossroads is now layered with a meaning that is both profound and deeply inconvenient. This is your reward. This is your victory. You did not defeat the darkness. You learned its rules. You are no longer a stranger here. You have become as superstitious, as wary, and as grimly pragmatic as the elder who first greeted you with a cup of brandy and a look of profound distrust. You understand him now. You understand that his life was not one of ignorance, but of constant, exhausting vigilance. You have survived the monsters, only to realize the true challenge is surviving the world that creates them. Congratulations. You have completed the deep dive simulation. Your reward is not a treasure or a throne. It is a lifetime of carefully managed paranoia. You have graduated with a major in applied existential dread and a minor in paranormal risk management. The final boss was not a dragon or a demon. It was the crushing, lifelong administrative burden of adhering to 1,000 unwritten supernatural safety regulations. You survived. But your life will now be a tapestry of small rituals, of whispered prayers, of avoiding the wrong path on the wrong night. This is the ultimate truth of this land. The creatures are just the symptoms. The folklore, the deep, pervasive belief system, is the cause. It is a self-perpetuating engine of fear and faith. It is the source of the curses and the power of the Solomonari. It is the reason the dead do not rest easy. You came here as an outsider, and you broke a rule. Now, you are an insider, and you know all the rules. And you know that breaking any one of them could start this entire nightmare all over again. Your journey is over, but your story is just beginning. In the villages you pass through, they will speak of a stranger with old eyes, one who seems to know the secret ways of the world, one who carries the scent of the grave and the forest and the sky. You are no longer just a survivor. You are a piece of the folklore, a new cautionary tale to be whispered by parents to their children. This is the lasting consequence, the final law coda for your existence. You have gotten so close to the world's dark, magical heart that it has consumed you. You have become another one of its verses, a ghost story in the making, forever walking the line between the world of the living and the darkness you now know so well.